Hi, guys. Welcome to this episode of the Trainer Feed. My name is Angel Sanchez. I am one of your hosts. Another host today will be Mr. David Bravo.
Hello.
And Mr. Jacques Delagere.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, Jax?
We are closing in on the end of the year. End of the year is happening. Spotify has sent the Wrap It Up playlist with a whole bunch of things that we've been listening to because of data collection. And they package it all for you. And they say, hey, listen, because we're collecting so much data, just take a look at it as we send it away to some third parties. But
here's your copy. Yeah.
Here's your copy of what we think about, of what you think about, literally.
It's ridiculous.
But
mining.
In that theme, I kind of wanted to take a look back on this past year, right? Things started opening up. We started doing what we wanted to do fitness-wise, get back on track with our goals. And I wanted to kind of wrap it up. What sort of things did you do fitness-wise this year that you hadn't done before? And just, talk about it, see if there was anything different, right? Because it gave us some time to actually reflect on a lot of things in life. And part of it was like how we treat our bodies and how we move our bodies. I know a couple of big things happened in a couple of our lives, but I'll let you guys speak on your own life. I, for myself, will start with an example, give you guys some time to kind of like think about it, let it resonate, stew it up. One thing that I did this year that I've never done before was go scuba diving. Went scuba diving, and that was a big deal for me because it was a fear that I had for a really long time, just being underwater. And I just freaked out. I was freaked out by the idea of just being underwater. Like, I know that as Dan Daly put it way back and when we had him on, that human beings are like terrible swimmers compared to the other animals in the animal kingdom. And I forget the number. I think it was like in the single digits in terms of proficiency at swimming. It was something like 7% or something like that. So yeah, so it was a fear of mine because I knew I was going to be outmanned, outgunned by the water. But definitely went out there, had a good time while doing it. I made sure to, after doing snorkeling and freaking the hell out, because I was like suffocating and drowning because it was like, you got the thing on your nose. It's not that comfortable. It's not that comfortable. And then if water goes in the pipe, then you just actually breathe it in, and then you gotta you're drowning with the freaking goggles.
You have to
on.
blow and exhale the water out. Yeah,
it's a whole situation. And then meanwhile, they're like, look at the turtles. It's like, fuck the turtles. They're trying to live. But scuba diving was so much easier because you have the mouthpiece. You just breathe in, breathe out. Obviously, you figure out how to flush the goggles and things like that, and you sink like a rock and you just control. You have that vest on and everything. So it was cool to be out there, do something like that, live that active lifestyle. And a couple of things that helped me get to that point were some of the workouts that I did. I was doing a lot of more body weight training. And knowing that I had that coming up, I just did things that I wasn't really comfortable with. So pushing myself out there in the elements, trying to see how much my body could take, how much my brain could take, doing stuff like some crazy sprints on the bike, and some other things to just help me mentally and physically prepare. So a lot more body weight than I was used to, a lot more outdoor in the elements than I was used to. Even though the gyms opened back up, I made the choice to make it difficult because I knew that I was about to die when I went under the water. No, I'm just kidding. But that was kind of my thing. That's what I did. I'm going to toss the ball to one of you guys. What have you guys done differently this year and why?
David, you want me to go or should I go?
I've got a pack of dogs outside my apartment killing each other, so I can't wait. I think they stopped.
George.
Yeah, no, they're barking like crazy.
The other day, my hallway sounded like a dog shelter. It's like there's so many more people have dogs now. It's wild.
How more? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're training some in the hallways, and then there are also some others.
Oh no!
They just start barking at each other. Yeah, it was wild. I was like, "Are you coming or going?" They're like, "Nah, we're staying." I was like, "All right." I'm
Outside
gonna
my
head out.
apartment, it sounds like fucking Brian from Family Guy. Woo! Like, I'm like, all right,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
relax. Anyway,
David, you want to go?
I think this year, it's been tough. I think, one of the biggest things for me is kind of not scaling back on workouts. Like I've been the type to try to go hard all the time when it comes to like my weightlifting stuff and my powerlifting stuff. That rest and recovery has always been an issue, and I think this year at least has been better, where I'm able to tell when I'm able to be like, you know what, I'm not going to work out today because I'm not feeling X, Y, and Z. Whereas back then it's like you got to go do it because if you don't do it, then you're lazy. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it because my body hurts. I hurt myself and I need to rest. And that's helped a lot because I'm at a better place at the end of 2021 where I was at the end of 2022 when it comes to like lifting and how my body feels. So it seems to have worked. So that's a good thing. We'll see. Next year, I hate doing New Year's resolutions. Because I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan because it kind of sets the expectation super high, and if you fail at something, you're gonna beat yourself up about it. So instead of being like, this is my resolution, I'm gonna be like, well, these are some things that I still want to continue to work on and see where it goes.
So the intensity was like the biggest thing that you kind of like changed in 2021. Like have a little bit
it's
more
like
respect.
I would go squat 315 for sets of 3 to 5, and then in
Must
2
be
or 3
nice.
days go do it again. Or like even heavier, and it's kind of like, you know what, that's not the best move.
Was
maybe
there
I should
something?
stick to the program.
I think it's hard in an environment where like you see other people doing it. Like it's almost better to do that if you have like a garage gym or something, because
don't
then
see
you're
anyone
not
else.
tempted by a whole bunch of people just like racking up with poor form. You see shitty ass squats and people got like 5 plates on it. And you're just like, what the
Every
hell is
day.
going
I
on?
mean,
And
I've
then you're
been-
like,
I've
let
been
me
a
show you
lot.
how to really do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've been like that in the past, and now I think I'm in a place where I don't give a fuck anymore.
You did in the beginning.
It's like in the beginning, I'm like, I gotta do this. At this point, it's like, I don't give a fuck if this guy is gonna break his back with 405. I'm not. I'm going home. I'm out. So yeah, it's always, you gotta learn to say no sometimes to other people and then to yourself. So
Just taking it easy one day at a time, or just respecting the program, as you said, right? It's a hard one because I definitely set some performance goals towards the start of the year. Don't feel as though I hit them. I did some work towards getting better at them, and as following up with what David said, I'm not someone who's big on doing New Year's resolutions. I always feel that they're set up to fail almost as well, because if you didn't do a certain habit in 2021, how are you going to, it's hard to say it's impossible, but make it realistic for you. So if you, the shit I hate hearing is I'm going to cut out bread. I fucking want to slap the shit out of people whenever they say I want to cut out carbs and bread.
But carbs are bad, Jacques.
Fucking
Aren't they?
cleanse.
You're going in a rabbit hole in David's feet.
I won't go.
I don't know.
David's feeding me. All I'm gonna say is that's an example of like it's just not that's non-specific, but just not a realistic expectation for you. You set yourself up to fail. Shit happens every year, and where I was going with this from the rabbit hole. But the point I was trying to make was I think there were some performance benchmarks. I had a really aggressive one of doing an inverted press on gymnastics rings. I compared it. So what I started to do was to do my inverted presses against the wall. I thought, okay, let me scale it back. And I started to be able to do the most I ever did, like without kipping, right? So just completely strict. I managed to do 3 in a row, is the most I ever did. And then I don't know if anyone listening know, but I had my right knee cleaned out, and it's been a bit over a month, but it's been amazing progress. Like I almost figured I had it done. And then something that I had a real nervous or had a real anxiety about doing. I don't know if David, I don't think I told you this. I got LASIK done about 10 days after the knee surgery because
Don't tell me nothing anymore.
No, I told Angel to swim in person, and that's why I told him.
But I kind of want to get LASIK too. So
But that's why it was just for so long. I was like, oh, I could never have a laser in my eye, to cut your eye open, and it's not.
I heard
It's
it takes 2 seconds.
it takes 7 to 10 minutes, and I had serious anxiety before, anxiety when I'm in there, during, but after, the sense of relief was just. I haven't been that relieved in a very long time. Where I can't remember the last time I was relieved like that. I mean, the day of is not that pleasant after, but sorry, the day, but after I was just like, oh my god, I've done the worst of it. I've done, and it lasts 7 to 10 minutes, as I mentioned. I even forgot I even wore lenses and glasses, like to wake up and to not have to do. It's just, and when we travel, to not having to worry about like the glasses case. Or I don't think you guys wear lenses, right? Like neither of you do. But wearing lenses, like, do you have the solution? Do you have the case? Just one less thing to think about. And also, like Kevin mentioned about the when we spoke to Kevin in a previous episode about underwater sports, like now being able to see underwater is another thing. So I'm not saying I do know Angel mentioned the scuba diving and snorkeling. Like I know my dad was always big into it, and I was somewhat exposed to it on some vacations as a kid. I went to some parts of Europe, and I never liked it. But once I got over, I never liked like your nose being bunked up and but once you, I don't know if you feel the same way. Once you got over that point, you felt you could really enjoy it. And you're like, oh, this is another world. I mean, there's a difference between that and going the middle of nowhere and looking for sharks. Like you'll never put me in a cage in the water and shark infested waters. You my God, is that something you guys would ever do?
I would.
I might.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
God.
the
I might
possibility
just-
of getting bit by a shark is so low.
Well, I don't know
Yeah,
about
when he
that.
breaks the cage, if he breaks
I
the
guess
cage,
that's-
then what are you gonna do? My odds are no
It's
different.
not
'cause you
lower
broke the
than
in the
just
cage.
nose.
like not being
punch
there.
in the
but-
Yeah, all right. We'll
I
see
don't
how
know, man.
we'll see how your anxiety is when you're shark
Kill it and
hunting
eat
it
it.
up.
I think for me, it would be more of like an anxiety relief, like one less thing that I'm really fearful of that I kind of packed away. I mean, it would still take a lot for me to do that, but
Which one?
I
Scuba
would-
or the
one with
The
sharks.
LASIK.
Because I
Oh, shark.
no, LASIK is fine. I mean, I just don't know if it's worth it for me right now because, you know, I take good care of my stuff, except those last pair of glasses that I had. But that was like I had them for 4 years. I only had 2 pair of glasses ever in my
That's
life. 2
wild to
pairs.
me that you've only had 2
So-
pairs since you were how old?
I don't know, like 14, 15, high
I've had
school.
these glasses for over 8, maybe 10 years.
Damn,
Yeah.
I literally
So it's
had
like I don't
Go
know.
on.
I take very good care of my stuff though. Like I put it in cases, I clean things, I know where it is. Like it's in only like a handful of spots. That's
yeah.
why like if it's not in those spots, then I just like lost it forever because it's like there's no way because I
The
only
geese-
have it in a
the
handful of
geese
stuff.
have it.
But
the geese.
yeah, but the keys. But I don't know if so I don't know if LASIK's actually for me because I haven't spent that much money on it and it's like $4,000 or something like that.
Yeah, if you've only worn 2 pairs, this is your 3rd pair of glasses since you were 14.
Yeah,
That's
and it's-
that's a
yeah.
really I can think I think I've had like between 5 and 10 pairs of glasses in about 10 years. So
Nah.
yeah,
But what were we saying? We were saying but the sharks. So I think
yeah,
the swimming with the sharks would be more for like conquering that fear more so than anything. And I only say that I might just because I never would have thought that I would skydive, never would have thought that I would snorkel or scuba dive. And I did it. And it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be because the biggest part of it is actually saying I'm going to do this. And after you're on the boat, after you're, in the plane, all that fear kind of like subsides for me because I know that I have objective. Like the objective is to jump out of the plane. The objective is to jump off the boat. Like I'm not staying on the boat. Another incentive is you pay a couple $100 and you're just like, I'm not losing out on this money. Like
Oh my God.
I'm not, spending $200 or whatever it is, $100 to like sit on a boat and eat, freaking dulces with some dude on a boat in Mexico. Anyway.
I would struggle to.
Postres. I don't know what they call it.
Bizcocho?
They just had mad colored bread and some of them had sugar on it. It's like cookies or whatever.
That was where? What country were you again? Costa Rica.
That was Mexico. Mexico.
Mexico.
Costa Rica has some pretty dope zip lining.
Costa Rica. Yeah, Puerto Rico too. I think I wanted to do that.
I think they do.
LAT canoeing, but something else. But no, yeah, 2021's been a better year than 2020. I think we can safely say that. And but going back to that New Year's resolutions, I think for people listening, if that's something you are interested in, not to gash out that idea, I just think that the more successful approach is just to pick something simple. And if you're listening to this and going back to the gym is something you're thinking of in January, that's good. That's a really good mentality to have, a good approach. The thing I would say is make it a reasonable amount. So if you want to go 5 days a week, we understand that intensity and that desire. Maybe you modify it to 2 to 3. And if you can just own that for the first 2 months, studies suggest that you'll likely keep the habit past February, past March, you know? I don't know what is the statistic that a certain time in February is when everything, or third week of January is when everyone usually gives up on their New Year's resolutions or gym memberships or going to gyms. I think so. If you just do, that's 3 times a week and if that's too much, own your 1 day a week. Like I think we mentioned about working in a garage or working in a gym setting, and David, you mentioned your program, just like focus on yourself. And that's it.
Yeah. Also, just, I think based on kind of like what we were talking about, with what we wanted to do and how our training helped us prepare for that, and or just how our training was, we just needed to respect our training in general. Like, make sure that having a goal helps, having an objective helps, aside from the weight loss, aside from getting stronger, aside from getting some 6-pack or something like that. And I think that's primarily because you have more reason as opposed to just because, right? Like, a number is just a number, but like, why that number really, right? And sometimes it helps to have, some people that I know love to plan out races, because if they plan out races, then they know that they're going to train for the races. And as a consequence, positive result, they stay in shape, or they start training more and they feel better, things like that. And maybe you lose weight, maybe you don't, but making sure that you have these objectives, I think, helps in the long run too, because then if you don't lose the weight, you still run the race and you still feel good about it, right? Like, you still feel good about the training, you still manage that and own that. Or same thing with strength. Like, if you didn't hit your numbers, you still went out there and you still competed and you still put your best out there, right? And not just saying, I want to get stronger to eventually go compete. It's like, well, get stronger, set a competition date, and just go out there and train, and then see where you land. And then also respect your body, right? Like, if you got any surgeries and things like that you want to do, make sure that you do that in order to help you progress, as opposed to putting it off. Because a lot of people just put off training, they put off surgeries just because they're like, no. It's like it's the same idea around people who want to train with a personal trainer. Like, no, I need to get in shape before I do this. It's like, just do that, and then you go from there. So make sure to have those objectives, keep it real, wrap it up. We'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.